It began on a night that didn't quite feel like any other. The star seemed closer than usual, too close, as if pressing against the atmosphere itself, whispering something only the wind could translate. I was alone in the Outer Ring Observatory, a solitary station orbiting the exoplanet Calyx 9. My job was simple: monitor transmissions, report atmospheric readings, and stay alive until the next supply drop. I liked the solitude, or at least I used to, until I met her. First, I thought I was hallucinating. Sleep deprivation and isolation can play cruel tricks on the human mind, especially in space. But this wasn't a hallucination. This was something else entirely. Beginning, the voice in my mind. It was day 182. My only company was the hum of the station's reactor and the occasional crackle of static from the comms. I had gotten used to hearing my own voice echo in the silence. It was like talking to an empty cathedral of steel and vacuum. I remember muttering to myself that night, staring at the blue swirl of Calyx through the viewport. If only someone else could hear this. That's when I heard it. I can. Froze. My pulse spiked, my breath caught in my throat. The voice was soft, female, but there was something layered underneath it, like a note within a note. "Who's there?" called out. I checked every system, every frequency, but there was no sign of an open channel. Nothing on the radar. Just empty space. Then the voice came again, directly inside my head. "You think too loudly for someone who claims to be alone." I staggered backward, knocking over a mug of instant coffee. It splattered across the console, sizzling as it hit the circuits. I didn't care. My heart was hammering. "This isn't possible," I whispered. "Possible," she repeated softly, "is only what your kind hasn't done yet." Her words weren't coming through my ears. They were in my thoughts. The connection felt biological, direct, like she was bypassing sound altogether. Middle, the alien girl appears. Over the next few days she kept speaking to me. Always when I was alone, always when the silence became too heavy. First it terrified me. Then slowly it didn't. She told me her name was Serai, though she said my human tongue could only pronounce a fragment of it. She claimed to be from Calyx, one of the sentient species that existed beneath the planet's shimmering cyan clouds. The planet's magnetic storms, she said, acted as conduits between consciousnesses. That's how she found me. I started keeping logs of our conversations. My supervisor back on Earth would have dismissed them as psychological coping mechanisms. But I knew better. The way she spoke, sharp, curious, almost musical. It was too real to be delusion. One night I caught myself thinking about what she looked like. And then I saw her. Not physically, not at first, but through a haze of thought. Like an image forming on the edge of a dream. Long silvery hair that moved like liquid mercury, eyes glowing with a faint turquoise light, skin with subtle iridescent patterns that shifted as she spoke. She looked human but impossibly refined, an evolutionary echo from another kind of perfection. "You imagine me," she said one night. "So I show you what you imagine. Are you reading my mind right now?" "Yes." "Not reading," she corrected gently. "Listening." Her voice was so calm, yet there was something beneath it, a gravity, a sadness. She said humans were loud, mentally speaking. That our thoughts leaked into the space around us, unguarded. She found that fascinating. But there was something else. Something in her tone that made me think she had been alone too. The connection deepens. Days turned into weeks. My sleep patterns vanished completely. We talked, if you could call it that, for hours at a time. I told her about Earth, about the rain, about music, about the scent of soil after a storm. She listened with a curiosity that bordered on reverence. "Your world sings," she said once. "Here, everything hums in silence." Asked about hers. "Calyx speaks differently," she said. "We share thoughts like rivers share water. No words, just meaning. But when I reach out to you it feels strange. You are full of walls." I laughed. "Humans are complicated." "Complicated," she repeated. "And lonely." That word stuck with me. Lonely. I didn't realize how deeply it had carved itself into me until the next time she spoke. "You think of me when you wake," she whispered in my head one morning. "And when you sleep, you dream of my voice." I didn't deny it. Couldn't. Something was happening. Something between us that I didn't understand. The distance between our worlds was measurable in light years, but the distance between our minds was shrinking by the second. The storm and the truth. On day 219, the station detected a storm brewing across Calyx's upper atmosphere. Electromagnetic pulses so strong they threatened to shut down my systems. I prepared to power down the reactor and wait it out. But Serai sounded worried for the first time. "The storm tears at thought," she said. "It will break our link. Then I'll re-establish it when it's over." "No," she replied. "When the storm ends, you will not hear me again." Her words hit harder than they should have. "You can't just vanish. You said you could always reach me." "Only through the current," she said. "And the storm will burn it away." The lights in the station flickered. The air felt charged, humming with static. My heart ached in a way I couldn't explain. "Serai," I said softly. "Before the storm comes, what were you doing when you found me?" There was a pause. "Waiting," she said. "For what?" "For the human who thought he was alone." And then the storm hit. Lightning flashed across Calyx's surface, enormous arcs that stretched into orbit. My monitors went haywire. Every light turned red. I shouted her name, both in my head and aloud, but she didn't answer. The silence returned. For the first time in months, I was truly alone again. Ending. The signal that wasn't a signal. 3 days after the storm, my systems came back online. But the comms were flooded with residual interference. I scanned through dozens of corrupted signals. White noise, static, fragmented data. Then, through the distortion, I heard something. Single word. "Listen." It was faint, almost buried beneath the static. My breath caught. I leaned closer. "Serai." The console flickered. The holographic display shimmered. For a heartbeat, just one, I saw her face again, translucent and wavering like a mirage. Her lips moved, and though the sound was fractured, I heard the words clear as thought. "The storm changed everything. You're inside now." "Inside," I whispered. "Inside what?" The screen dimmed. Then the external sensors pinged. A small, glowing object was approaching the station from orbit. A sphere of energy, crystalline, pulsing with the same cyan hue as Calyx's clouds. Before I could react, it passed through the hull as if the metal wasn't there. The room filled with light, warm, encompassing, alive. And then I heard her again. "You thought you were alone," she said gently. "But now you will never be." The light faded slowly, but the silence that followed wasn't empty anymore. I could feel her presence, quiet, constant, somewhere inside my mind. Not speaking, not intruding, just there. The station logs show no record of an incoming object. No trace of interference. According to Earth Command, nothing out of the ordinary happened that week. But I know what I experienced.